A CIA officer once walked into a dark alley and found herself surrounded by 20 armed men. Every instant screamed, "Run! Turn around! Get out!" But she knew something most people don't. If she ran, she confirmed their suspicion. If she froze, she was dead. So she took a breath, locked her eyes forward, and walked straight through them. They parted. She survived. Later, she was asked, "Weren't you terrified?" Her answer changed everything I thought I knew about courage. She said, "It's not bravery, it's preparation. You don't just become courageous, you have to exercise it." Here's the uncomfortable truth you need to hear. You cannot control what other people think of you, but you can absolutely control how you interpret their behavior, and that changes everything.
Think about the last time someone told you, "I'm fine." You didn't just listen to the words, you watched their face, their tone, their posture, how quickly they answered. That's not mind reading, that's pattern recognition. And here's the rule that separates good observers from anxious overthinkers. One gesture means nothing. Repeated behavior means everything. A single nervous movement is meaningless, but someone who consistently avoids eye contact, always changes the subject, or repeatedly breaks promises, that's information. But here's the trap most people fall into. They observe someone once, decide what that person is, and then stop observing. They've made their conclusion. Now their brain only looks for evidence that proves them right. That's not clarity, that's confirmation bias. So here's the first habit. Don't observe to judge, observe to understand.
Now let's turn the lens inward. Imagine you send someone a message. They see it, they don't reply. 5 minutes pass, then 20, then an hour. Suddenly, your brain starts writing a screenplay. They're ignoring me. I said something wrong. They don't respect me. Notice what just happened. You received one piece of information. They haven't replied. Everything else, the rejection, the disrespect, the judgment, was created by your mind. This is the engine of self-doubt. We constantly confuse what happened with what we think it means. Here is the single most important mental distinction you will ever learn. Observation: they haven't replied. Interpretation: they don't like me. These are not the same thing. Clear thinking doesn't mean you never have negative thoughts. It means you refuse to automatically believe them. Practice this separation. Every time you feel anxious, ask yourself, what do I actually know and what am I assuming?
Now you're about to do something that genuinely scares you. Apply for the job. Start the business. Speak in front of people. Tell someone what you really think. Your heart races. Your thoughts become louder. Your body screams, "I'm not ready." Most people interpret this as a stop sign. But fear isn't a command to stop. It's a signal to pay attention. Your nervous system is designed to detect uncertainty and potential danger. The problem is, it doesn't know the difference between "this is dangerous," "this is unfamiliar." That's it. That's the whole trick. Fear doesn't mean you're incapable. It means your brain hasn't collected enough evidence yet. And evidence only comes from one place: action. People love to talk about trusting your gut. But here's the problem no one tells you. Sometimes your gut is intuition. Sometimes it's just anxiety. How do you tell the difference? Use this 3-question diagnostic. It takes 30 seconds and it works every time. Question 1. Is this feeling attached to a specific, observable pattern, or is it just a vague dread? If you can point to repeated behavior, "they've done this before," that's intuition. If it's just a swirling, formless "something feels off," that's anxiety. Question 2. If I had zero fear right now, would I still think this is true? If the answer is no, you're being driven by anxiety. If the answer is yes, pay attention. Your intuition is speaking. Question 3. Does this feeling push me toward action or freeze me in place? Intuition usually moves you. It says, "Do this, say this, go here." Anxiety usually paralyzes you. It says, "Wait, what if? Don't." Run your feelings through this filter. You will instantly know whether to listen or to push forward. Confidence isn't a personality trait you're born with. It's a bank account, and you make deposits through evidence. Think about learning to drive. The first day, everything is overwhelming. Mirrors, traffic, signals, speed. But after enough practice, those decisions become automatic. Did you suddenly become a different person? No, you accumulated experience. Self-doubt is just a lack of evidence. You don't eliminate it by sitting alone and convincing yourself you're amazing. You eliminate it by repeatedly giving your brain proof that you can handle difficult situations. Here's how you start today. Make small promises to yourself and keep them. Wake up when you said you would. Finish the task you said you'd finish. Have the conversation you've been avoiding. Do the thing you keep postponing. Every time you follow through, you send yourself a message. My words mean something. I can trust myself. That's how you build confidence, not through affirmations, through receipts.
Someone criticizes you. You immediately defend yourself. Someone ignores you. You immediately assume they don't care. Someone disagrees. You immediately feel threatened. The reaction happens so quickly you don't even realize you had a choice. But here is the most powerful truth in this entire script. There is always a tiny gap between what happens and what you do next. That gap is where clear thinking lives. Instead of reacting immediately, pause and ask yourself, what do I actually know? What am I assuming? What else could explain this? What response would serve me best? These questions don't make you emotionless. They make you harder to manipulate by your own emotions. You don't need to stop feeling. You need to stop allowing every feeling to become a command.
Here's the beautiful paradox of everything we've discussed. The better you become at observing others, the less obsessed you become with what they think about you. Because you start realizing that everyone is carrying their own fears, insecurities, and private stories. Someone's criticism says more about their perspective than your worth. Someone's silence may have nothing to do with you. Someone's confidence may be hiding deep insecurity. People are complicated, and so are you. That's why the goal isn't to become someone who can read everyone perfectly. The goal is to become someone who can observe without immediately judging, think without immediately reacting, act without needing certainty.
So let's bring this home. If you want to think more clearly, separate facts from the stories your mind creates. If you want to trust yourself, keep promises to yourself and collect evidence. If you want to eliminate self-doubt, stop trying to convince yourself that you have nothing to fear. Instead, show yourself that you can handle what you're afraid of. Because confidence isn't a personality trait reserved for a lucky few. It's a record of moments when you were uncertain and moved anyway. A record of moments when you were afraid and prepared. A record of moments when you didn't know what would happen and discovered that you could handle it. So the next time your mind tells you you're not ready, don't automatically believe it. Ask a better question. What evidence can I create today that I can trust myself? Then go create it. Because the goal isn't to become fearless. It's to become someone who can think clearly while fear is present. Someone who can observe without overreacting. Someone who can understand others without losing themselves. And someone who no longer needs perfect certainty before taking the next step. That is how you become difficult to manipulate, difficult to intimidate, and much, much harder to stop. Not because you stop.
Observe without overreacting. Someone who can understand others without losing themselves. And someone who no longer needs perfect certainty before taking the next step. That is how you become difficult to manipulate, difficult to intimidate, and much, much harder to stop. Not because you stopped doubting yourself, but because you finally learned how to move forward even when doubt is still there.